Okay, so let's get right into it. For as long as people have been fighting, we've been arguing about the best way to do it. Is it the raw power of something like karate? Maybe the fluid grappling of jujitsu? It's a debate that honestly never ends. It's the ultimate question, right? We've seen it play out in dojos, on internet forums, and of course in the UFC octagon. But what if the most brutal, maybe the most effective answer didn't come from some ancient master on a mountaintop? What if it came from somewhere else entirely? So meet Tetsuryoku-Ryu. It translates to the iron force style. And listen, this is not your grandfather's martial art. It's a modern system. Its founder calls it combat engineering, and it's designed for one thing and one thing only: ending a real-world violent fight in under 5 seconds. And as we're about to find out, it's built on a series of really surprising and frankly kind of shocking truths. So the first surprising truth is that this art's foundation isn't some mystical energy or ancient secret. Nope, it's cold, hard science. It's actually built around this central idea that there is a mathematical cheat code to human anatomy. At the very heart of this system is a concept pulled straight from Judo and Sambo called Kuzushi, which basically means the balance break. The whole point isn't to stand there and trade punches. It's to attack their stability, their connection to the ground itself. You're not fighting them, you're fighting their balance. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. This is the system's core mechanic. They call it the Tetsuryoku disrupt. By coming in at a 45-degree angle, it claims to exploit 3 human weaknesses all at the same time. First, you hit the skeleton where it's weakest. Second, you enter their peripheral vision, which totally messes with their depth perception. And third, you trigger what they call neural overload. You know that split second of pure panic your brain has when it thinks you're about to fall? And this quote just brilliantly sums up the whole philosophy. It's pulled right from their own manuals, and it's a direct shot at any kind of mysticism. It's a pragmatic, almost mechanical approach to combat. We're talking levers and angles, not life force. So what does this actually look like? Well, let's put it up against a famously tough style like Kyokushin Karate. A Kyokushin fighter, they want to stand and trade these powerful, straight-line blows. But Tetsuryoku just refuses to play that game. It uses that 45-degree angle to get offline, to jam the attack before it even has a chance to land, and it uses that Kyokushin fighter's own rigid posture against them to literally force a structural collapse. All right, let's move on to our second truth, and this is a big one. This system is not designed for sport. Actually, it's intentionally designed for scenarios that are way too vicious for any regulated cage match. Its entire philosophy is anti-sport. This is probably the most powerful analogy they use. It just frames the entire mindset perfectly. Sport fighting is like a complex game with rules and rounds and strategy. Tetsuryoku-Ryu sees itself as a tool for a completely different problem, a life-or-death situation that has to be over decisively right now. And this slide breaks down exactly why. On the left, you've got sport fighting, referees, padded mats, gloves. But Tetsuryoku-Ryu is built for the reality on the right, unfiltered combat. It's based on the idea that a high guard designed for boxing gloves, what they call the glove delusion, is pretty useless against a bare fist. And most importantly, it addresses the concrete variable, which is the hard truth that on pavement, taking a fight to the ground can be a fatal mistake. This is the system's doctrine of upright dominance, and it's boiled down to just 4 pretty stark words. Because in a street fight with no ref, maybe multiple attackers, going to the ground on purpose is seen as tactical suicide. The goal is to put your opponent on the ground while you stay standing, mobile, and ready to get out of there. Okay, so if this art isn't ancient, then what is it? And that brings us to our third truth. Tetsuryoku-Ryu isn't some traditional art that's been passed down for generations. It's an engineered hybrid, a modern mashup of some of the world's most effective combat systems. The founder, Jarrod Freeman, his goal was never to preserve tradition. It was, and he said this himself, to slap together the most violent and efficient mechanics from arts that had already been proven in a fight. He even called it a Frankenstein of lethality, a system of proven blood, new geometry. And these are the spare parts. It takes the iron body conditioning and just raw power from Kyokushin Karate. It strips Aikido of all its mysticism and just keeps the brutally efficient 45-degree pivots. It borrows the science of Kuzushi from Judo and the Russian art of Sambo. And then it mixes in the brutal close-range tools of Muay Thai and what people call dirty boxing. We're talking elbows, headbutts, that kind of thing. So we know it's a modern creation, a hybrid of all these older arts. But how it was created? Well, that's the most shocking part of this whole story. And believe me, it has nothing to do with dusty old dojos or ancient scrolls. You'd think a system this specific would have to come from a lifetime of focused study under some grand master, right? Some secret lineage that was revealed to a worthy student. But the reality is much, much stranger and jarringly 21st century. And there it is, the founder's own words. He admits to using ChatGPT to synthesize and structure his ideas, which were based on his own martial arts experience. I mean, this completely shatters the traditional idea of lineage and makes this art a uniquely modern product, where human insight was actually merged with the organizing power of AI. So what does all this mean? Where does a system like this even fit into the world of modern combat? Let's try to put all the pieces together. You know, the claim of being the strongest martial art is really more about extreme specialization. It's not designed to be the best at everything. It's a tool set engineered for a very narrow and very brutal set of circumstances: sudden, close quarters, life or death fights. And its motto, disrupt, dominate, done, yeah, that pretty much captures that single-minded focus. And you gotta give it to them. The system is brutally honest about its own weaknesses. Because it's so specialized, it creates these tactical gaps. It's definitely vulnerable to skilled long-range strikers, kickboxers who can stay outside that disrupt zone. The physics are unforgiving too. A tiny error in your angle and the whole thing can just fail. And yeah, if a skilled BJJ practitioner gets the fight to the mat, the system is in very serious trouble. So Tetsuryoku-Ryu really forces us to ask a fascinating question. It's an engineered hybrid, it's unapologetically brutal, and it was born from a process that involved AI. It challenges all our ideas of tradition and authenticity. So I'll leave you with this. In an age where information can be synthesized in an instant, what does it truly mean for a martial art to be real? Is it about a long lineage, or is it just about being effective?